Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick 2-month review of my 1140-60 Rolex Submariner. Just wanted to talk about what I found, my expectations and my thoughts over owning it for 2 months, and also just to maybe give you guys some feedback in case you're thinking about picking up this watch, just so you can have a better opinion, because I know that I looked up a lot of reviews when trying to understand it, because often it is hard to buy. So let's get into it. Look, the first thing about the 1140-60 that I've really loved is its versatility. It's so versatile. I think just being a black watch is that it just goes with everything. It goes with a white shirt, goes with a suit, goes with tracksuit pants, even just like a hoodie. It just really works with every outfit and it's super versatile. I think part of this as well is the case size being 40 millimeters. I think it's just a really great middle of the size zone. It doesn't look too big on most people, doesn't look too small. It's just very versatile. So I've seen people wear this with suits around the city, or I've seen people wear this to the beach, and I've worn it to the beach myself and a lot of locations, and it never looks out of place. Now, one thing to note as well here is sometimes people think up, should I get the new Submariner or the old Submariner in terms of the no date? For me, it didn't really faze me too much. If I could have got a 41 millimeter sub at retail, of course I would take that. But I just know that it's basically impossible to get at retail. So I actually didn't care too much. Now, one thing to note as well is with the lug width here is that Rolexes have got the maxi case. So sometimes people, when I used to look at Instagrams and look really big images of the Rolex Submariner, what I would tend to see is that I thought that the lug which looked too big and it just made it look too bulky. That being said, on the wrist, it feels great. I cannot feel the difference between the new 41mm sub that I've tried on and this current 40mm sub. They both feel very similar, and I actually quite like the larger lug width, and I wouldn't change it at all, to be honest. That's one thing that I've really found. Look, another thing as well that I really love about it is it's just design. There's something to be said about beautiful design that is just timeless. The Speedmaster, for example, is a timeless design. Porsche, the cars, the way that they look is a timeless design and a classic. And classics only become evident as essentially over time. And so one thing that I really love is the design. It's so classic. I actually prefer the no date to the date. Just the symmetrical is fantastic. That being said, I have worn date watches in the past and often do look down to look at the date and remember that it's not there. But for me, that's a sacrifice I'm kind of willing to make, because I really, I think it looks fantastic just being the symmetrical look. Now, the third thing here that I've noticed as well after owning this for 2 months is it's really durable. Of course, Rolex is a luxury good, but it's been really durable. It feels really sturdy on the wrist. I've scratched it up a lot over the last 2 months, but it just feels really strong. Like I don't have any fears of the bracelet coming undone when I'm doing an activity. It just feels so solid and sturdy and well made. It is also quite heavy as well, so it just has this real feeling of robustness. No scratches on the bezel whatsoever. Look, it would be cool if the face did sometimes get a little bit of patina. It's probably not going to happen with these new subs, but that's okay, because I think it keeps it looking really nice and fresh. And then look, another thing to make note of here is the movement. Now, obviously the new subs do have the longer movement, which tends to obviously be a little bit better if you're having a big watch rotation. For me, this is my only watch. So this is a watch that I'm wearing every day. So I never have to worry about the movement running out with its 38 hours of power reserve. I don't even think about it, to be honest. I just put it on every morning and it does its thing and it's fantastic. Similarly, spot on. You get what you pay for. A lot of my old watches often tended to run pretty fast per day. This is doing about 1 to 2 seconds a day. I might set it once a month. I don't care if it's 30 seconds fast or 40 seconds fast at the end of the month. For me, it is just a fantastic engine and it's a workhorse and it's fantastic. Now, another thing to note here is that one thing I didn't expect is that the applied lume looks amazing on the dial. At night, it's got a pretty good glow. Once it's been out in the sun, it looks fantastic. But it's almost shiny around the outside, so it kind of looks a little bit flashy. Same with the bezel as well, is that the bezel in the certain lights tends to have this really nice sheen factor that just makes the watch look really, really cool. in the light. That being said, though, it doesn't tend to attract attention like the Datejusts do. So it just sort of tends to be this run-of-the-mill watch. Now, one thing, again, here I do have to note is if you're buying this to impress someone, don't, because people don't notice it. I've taken this out everywhere. I wear it every day, essentially. And only people who know about it are the people who I know who already appreciate watches. So if you're buying this to impress, that nice lady you're interested in, or your future boss, or in a job interview, I actually don't think it's worth that at all. I wouldn't buy it at all if it was just to do that. Buy it for yourself to mark like a cool achievement, or to have an heirloom that you can give to maybe, a friend or your son or a daughter or grandson, granddaughter one day. For me, that's what I love, that idea of giving it to someone in the future. I think that's really, really cool. Now, probably the main question to ask is it worth it? Now, objectively, I can say no. It's not worth the asking price. Look, I paid about $15,500 for it in Australian dollars. And that's a little bit obviously over the retail prices. But the way you have to think about it is you can't actually buy Rolexes at retail prices. So you need to think, is it worth it? Well, Rolex deems this worth to be worth $11,400. So even a dollar over that is probably not worth it, particularly at least from Rolex perspective. So that's one thing to think there. So view it as a $15,500 watch, because that's truly what it is. Is it worth $15,500? I would say for me it is yes. I really appreciate it, and it's something that makes me smile when I put it on. That being said, at the end of the day, it is just a watch. And if I did need to sell it to get some funds back, or I needed to use that money for other things, I would sell it. I'd like never to sell it, but at the end of the day, it is just a watch, and it's just a way of telling the time. That being said, I have no plans to sell this, and I think it's pretty much a perfect one watch collection. I love it. It works really, really well. And the other thing as well, the glide lock clasp is unbelievable. It just blows every other watch out of the water in terms of getting a perfect, comfortable fit. So even though it's made out of metal, it doesn't feel like it at all. It just sits on your wrist perfectly. It does slip under the cuff, as you can see. And look, for me, I just think it's a great, fun thing to have. It's just a watch at the end of the day. So, and that's it, it's just a watch. It's just something to tell the time. And it's something that I'm very lucky to have. So what are your thoughts? If you have any questions, let me know. I'm really happy to answer them or do any follow-up videos. And hope you guys have a great day.